All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Revolutionary Girl Utena, episode 11. It is a tragic day.
Is it?
The name of Nanami has been sullied with...
No, there's too many good Nanami characters to sully the entire name.
With drowning a kitten. Like, don't you hate it when your favorite character just suddenly drowns a kitten? It's like, oh, okay. I mean, I still love her. She's misunderstood.
See, you know what's my favorite part about this is that, like, there's Saionji as a character, right?
Right.
And yet he's clearly going to go on some kind of arc, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he started out being a piece of shit.
Oh, yes.
But what's probably going to happen here is that by the end of this story, you're going to realize that all these characters are super fucked up.
No, absolutely.
And it's literally just choosing your flavor of fucked up, which shows your biases as to what kinds of fucked up you're okay with.
Do you know what my bias is? Comedy and screen time.
Ah.
Nanami has already been going on an arc, a character arc, a comedy arc, if you will.
That's true.
It's just a bit jarring to now all of a sudden have this, like, serious stuff be brought into it. And it's like, damn it, I know that she was introduced as a piece of shit and an awful person, but, like, damn it. I can't believe you've done this.
Yeah, I love that Nanami has more dimensions to her character than half the cast.
Yeah.
And that is actually kind of amazing. Because half the cast, the other half of the cast, are really fucking good.
Yeah.
So it's like, she's barely losing to them.
She may be worst girl, but she is also best girl.
But from another perspective, she's mid.
No. So if you put salt and pepper don't cancel each other out. We learned this as kids. Just because you add more of one doesn't mean it takes away from the other. It just
these things are
ends
not
up being
even
this chaotic mess of wonderful.
I'm just saying that she's flat in the middle of the cast. Yeah, she is.
Nah.
I could mathematically prove it right here. Yes. Who is the best character in this show? Mickey. 100%. Mickey is the most I would say dynamic and interesting character in terms of the way set up.
He's up there, but I don't know if he's
No. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Toga. Toga is a whole mess.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say necessarily he's the best character because we more have his presence and his effect on the plot rather than him as a person.
No. Well, we actually know quite a bit about him as a person. Then I would say underneath that is probably Utena.
Okay.
Yeah.
Except Nanami, I think, is at the top of that list.
No. I think that Nanami's directly underneath Utena.
No.
And you get Juri.
You can't say okay, actually Juri could give Utena a run for her money, maybe.
Yeah, but I still think that she doesn't have enough run time and screen time to actually get that kind of focus there. Yeah. Then we have...
You know who has a lot of screen time?
Then we have Anthe, unfortunately.
I'm just saying, Caleb, like...
Yeah. I'm aware.
Yeah.
Chu is a very interesting, little animal. Then Chu is right underneath Anthe. And then way down beneath there's whale poop, and then there's Saionji.
Yeah.
Just a weird reference for anyone that gets that reference to the stupid movie. But anyway, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
Wakaba! Does this mean we're gonna get a Wakaba episode?
She's so excited. No.
Is Wakaba the childhood friend with the unrequited crush?
Is this the cooking episode for your true love? Calm down, Wakaba. Gay!
I mean, not wrong.
Not wrong, yeah. Oh my god! It's like it's from another anime!
See, why is this girl not in more episodes?
I forgot about Wakaba. I'm sorry. I need to put her into the tier list of characters and throw her, like, straight up at the top. Wakaba's face. It is that episode! It is that episode!
God. It's 3 layers of shaved ice. Hey, takoyaki's delicious.
Whoa. copious noodles.
So much carbs. Whatever it was, Chu got to it.
Is Anthe gonna be doing the slapping now?
I will say, takoyaki, I've done such an about face on it.
Yeah, it's not that good.
No, I used to not like it.
What?
And now I'm kind of obsessed with it.
Okay, then you must have had good takoyaki, because I'll tell you, most takoyaki is garbage.
That was my first experience, yeah.
Yeah, if you've had good takoyaki, then...
It's...
Doesn't even acknowledge Wakaba as a human being!
Oh my god.
Oh, right, he's gonna be like, oh, it must be Wakaba! What?
Don't try and gaslight me into saying that Wakaba is an illusion.
They did that! They just did boob jiggle physics for takoyaki in his stomach. When he looks at me, and I look at him. When he looks at me, and I look at him.
Wakaba's bullshit sensor is just too good. God. The lines that work when you're in high school.
No!
Alright, yes, let's get the catchphrase.
So, was he gonna go see Utena or what?
I have no
why is he
idea.
approaching? Ho ho, I'm approaching you.
Just setting proper atmosphere, you know?
Right, but then we just suddenly cut.
He changed his mind. See, he's so good at manipulating that he knew just by walking somewhere nearby and having a bunch of girls flock to him, it would make Utena notice him. What's with the balloon?
It's the 100th balloon.
Wait, it just changed color.
It's just a different balloon. Nope,
yeah, no, that's the same balloon. It's just changing color, my
it's
dude.
just fucking with us. I'm trying to focus.
It's a spy balloon. Someone shoot it down. I'm waiting for one of them to just throw it.
Oh, is it? They're all different balloons.
It's all a metaphor.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't.
Darkness is darkness, and light is darkness.
See.
Oh.
Now that Nanami has killed a cat, nothing is sacred. You know, it's just everything becomes chaos. Oh no, is he going to be added to the list? No, this is how we show that he's different as an antagonist. He doesn't slap on. It's so commendable.
Oh. Well, there was the verbal slap.
Yeah. Why did it seem, though, like she was into that?
Oh! Yeah, call his ass out.
Exactly, no one can own her, bitch. I mean, that's not how she's really... Oh, wow, and she just says that because... Okay. Went from, tell him how you feel to...
So she's
tell
gonna
him
do
that
whatever
you
you
hate
say.
it. Yeah.
Oh, he's just straight up saying it now.
Assuming much. What happened to the get away from Anthe? Wow. The cold read is strong with this one.
僕はあの時泣いていたんだ。本当にあの時の僕を救ってくれたあの人。
その証が欲しい。
証？
さて、こんな感じだったかな。
キスされる。でもあの時もこんな感じだった。
Nice. Oh, that was smart.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't actually the person. He's like, well, I can't actually kiss her because then she'd be able to tell.
Wow.
Damn.
He's good.
He's good.
大事な話だが、天井ウテナ。
Here we go.
All right.
All these squares form a circle. All these squares form a circle.
Okay, now, Anthi and Wakaba need to give you plenty of food so that way you're properly nourished for this fight. But there's no other way around it. Toga is absolutely your prince, because he just looks exactly like him.
Yes.
Yes,
Why
if
isn't
only
she
she was
here?
like, yeah, here right now, yeah.
Okay, I will. Because you said that.
Yeah, are we gonna talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Feeling isolated, yeah.
Yeah, what is it that you want?
そうだ。僕が姫宮を守らなければ。僕なら姫宮を普通の女の子に戻すこともできるんだ。他のやつに渡すわけ。
I can fix her?
たとえ僕の王子様であろうと。
Well, because she is kind of trapped by the idyllic kind of
Right.
role of being the princess, if you will.
頭の上にこのリンゴを乗せて立つのだ。
Oh.
でも。お見事父ちゃん。でももう37,919回目だよ。
Oh my god. Oh my god.
ドクターストップが出るまでだな。
Oh.
どうして領主様は一回で許してくれないの？わしに考えさせるんじゃない。
Oh, wait a minute.
射的マシーンと化したテル親子の運命は。かしらご存知かしら。父ちゃん照準もうちょっと上。
I just got a weird read off of that scene. Because usually they do those kinds of little bits there when they're transitioning to set up for a duel, right?
Right, something thematically relevant.
But it is usually always relevant to the duel.
Right.
Now, what is the duel? A ritual, right?
Yeah. It's
Being repeated.
time and time again, yeah.
Well,
Except
right,
he's
but
specifically
what if-
trying to end it.
No, but what about that idea of 37,000 times? Why throw that out there? It's a joke, right?
Right. Some giant big number.
Well, right. But more to the point of this whole song and everything being about eternity and about this kind of being some like this being some like place of stasis and, you know, just
Okay.
things being stuck and we need to revolutionize the world and stuff. Meaning the vagary of the joke of that little encounter there felt almost too random, meaning there had to be some element of it that was thematically relevant. And like, which of those things makes the most sense? Well, given that this is theoretically the last duelist, you know, for her to fight, right? How does the show continue if we've fought all the duelists at least once, right?
Right.
来たね。
I mean, there is the notion that, you know, you can fight multiple times.
Well, right. But what's the point of that then?
I mean, I'm pretty sure he is trying to get Utena to either, you know, lose on purpose or, you know, give up the ring and stop dueling him or something.
お取り込みのところ失礼だ。
Okay.
手加減はしない。決闘において甘い考えを持つと命取りになる。
Okay, here we go.
天井を見てな。決 剣の腕は白と同然だが問題はディオスの力が現れた時さあ天井ウテナ
That looked like it was just a strike for her face.
ディオスの力
Okay. Oh shit!
Oh, damn.
Shit!
Oh, okay.
Oh shit! She's channeling the visage of the prince?
And like
he
it's an
let
actual
him-
mechanic. Oh.
He let himself lose.
王子様ってのは俺みたいな
What is going on? What is going on? Whoa. Huh. Okay, okay, okay.
姫宮は連れて行かないでくれ。姫宮は普通の女の子に戻りたいんだ。僕がいてあげなくては世界を革命する力なんていらない。姫宮には僕が必要なんだ。
君は何も分かっていない。バラの花嫁でいられて幸せだな。
はい。
私は
Actual hesitation.
バラの花嫁でいられて幸せです。
Shit.
友達はいらない。一人が好きだろ。
はい、一人が好きです。
君とエンゲージしている間は
Yeah.
君に従うという掟なんだ。バラの花嫁は主の望みに応えた。
And what does she do here? Because
女の子にさせたいと君が望んだだけのことだ。
嘘だ。
決闘に負けた以上、君とアンシーとは何の関わりも
Strings.
and what are
coming
you
in.
gonna try and like win her back? Because then that's just a different kind of possession.
嘘だろ姫宮。本当のことを言ってよ。バラの花嫁なんか嫌だって。友達を作るって僕に話してくれたじゃないか。
アンシー、お別れを言ってやれ。
ごきげんよう、店長さん。
Wow.
Damn.
そうだ。
Whew.
そうだ。
And this is timed perfectly with the idea of like the image of the prince like being something that she brought into herself and it failed, kind of shattering her own idea of being the prince that saves, you know, beautiful princesses, you know?
Right. Well, and this entire time, when she thought she was making a connection with Anthe, was she actually just being complicit in this thing she sees as being so awful?
Yeah. Ah.
Okay.
Well.
She lost.
Toga made his move. He beat Utena, even though she was channeling some kind of otherworldly power
Power
or
of Dios or
person
whatever.
or what have you. And that seemed like something that not only he knew was going to happen, but he planned to have happen.
Yep.
And then specifically at that moment, then utilized the fact that she sees him as the prince
Right.
and made sure that she wouldn't, you know, he essentially
Yeah.
pulled a
She-
thing that every single other character had as their problem with Utena as to why they'd lost. They hesitated in some way. Utena took advantage of that and beat them.
Yeah.
And now it's happened to Utena, and Anthe has switched hands and is now no longer
Right.
your bride. Which is,
And-
we are going to get into some cool territory now.
As far as a way to unravel Utena as a character, I absolutely love this because
Her fairy tale is shattered.
her fairy tale is shattered, and all of the things that we've been kind of seeing is like, hey, this is weird. Why is Anthe just going along with all of this? Utena has also been seeing, doesn't understand it. It's so completely opposite to her own experience and things like that. That she's like, clearly you must not want this. And yet, oh wait, maybe
The world building was very simple. We knew all along. Anthe is just following exactly what you say. And
Yep.
we knew that to be the case. But there were a couple times where we maybe even bought into the lie ourselves of like, no, Anthe is like starting to like this a little bit.
and not
Because
just
she's changing a little bit.
and not just the
Maybe.
the what you say, but little ways in which it's the what is it that you actually want, maybe? You know? Like, and so it's the, oh, yeah, was all of that stuff that was happening with Anthi a lie? Maybe. Like, there's that part of me that is like on a meta level, I'm like, no. The bit with the vulnerability and stuff, that was real because that's why it was important to happen. Otherwise, you know, like the show wouldn't want to waste time, things like that. But at the same time, they could legitimately make it where it's Anthi's just like, nah, this is I'm okay with this. Which, if so, then that's a whole other kind of vulnerability that can be gotten into with that, of like why and what that means for you and all of that stuff. But okay, we're at a turning point.
We are at a turning point, and things have gotten juicy.
Yeah.
My world building brain is starting to fire off really hard right now, because
You don't say.
they just gave us like two things that made me go like, One, Utena did not see the prince-like being
Yeah.
inhabiting her.
Like
Two,
maybe she wasn't looking for it,
hold
you
on,
know?
hold on.
Okay. Yeah.
Toga did see it.
Mm-hmm.
That fucked with my head a little bit, because I'm like, oh, okay, this thing is some personification of her fairy tale. It did almost come down earlier with the fight with Nanami, but it didn't go all the way. Now,
Right.
why didn't this happen in any of the other duels? I think it's because Toga is fucking with the duels setup a little bit.
Okay.
The Nanami thing was his manipulation as well.
Mm-hmm.
But there might be something that Utena's doing and she's not really aware of it. Some
I think
kind of
so.
repetition of this ritual where, oh, she's done this enough times now. She's coming up to the final, student council, member that she can actually duel for the first time.
Right.
And I've been like wondering to myself, okay, how does this show remain interesting if you just end up dueling the same people over and over again? Well, you change hands for Anthi.
Yeah.
But the fact that this was something that he set up that should have led to Utena potentially winning, because she's channeling the power or what have you. This is something that's like bigger than her. Oh, well then why didn't that help her? Well, because Toga specifically played her.
Yeah.
Which means that he was waiting for that power to envelop her, so that when he beats her, it like either transfers over to him, it like breaks some specific thing, it sets in motion some specific thing. But whatever that is, he knew that was going to happen, which means that whatever that thing or person or being is, it's something that's connected to the fabric of this world, this fairy tale, this weird reality marble that they all enter in to do the duels and stuff, where things are just whack and we've got a castle floating upside down in the sky.
Well,
Yes. Yeah, things are
getting interesting. And one of the wackiest things about this, one of the questions that comes about as a result of this is, okay, the president does this, he knows about all this stuff, he's able to orchestrate it to make it work. Great. That is very easy to believe for me.
Yep.
But why hasn't he already done it?
Well,
right?
That's the thing. Is
Like-
that
like-
he didn't have the means to do it.
Well, I mean, wouldn't he?
No.
No. Hang on.
Yeah.
Why couldn't he have just dueled Saionji when Saionji had Anthi before, right? Anyone can duel anyone. Why is it important that it specifically be Utena that comes along as the challenger, right? They're all duelists. Theoretically, that shouldn't be an issue. Was there something that happened when Utena showed up that fundamentally changed the rules of the game?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, is that he couldn't have done it before, because Utena does have some part to play.
No, right, but that's important to note, because then it's not just that she is a person that thinks about this differently, and so then causes a bunch of chaos that then they kind of have to like clean up to reset the status quo, but that there's actually an in-universe mechanical thing that's going on in a similar way that in the previous episode, I kind of figured that the prince showing up was more of just showing her internal state and her resolve, and and it's like
it came from the castle. It's its own thing.
It came from the castle, and like that is what is happening here.
That is the end of the world. Like, if anything, like that's probably the end of the world right there.
Yeah.
Like, if there's any being or person that is like manipulating this all in some way, it makes sense then that we're just flat out either getting introduced to the prince, and there's a reason why the prince in the idyllic image in her head looks exactly like that person, and it's just as simple as, no, that's actually just the prince.
Right. And while they could always do the thing of like maybe Toga sees them as being different somehow, it's Toga's own image of what the power means, or or something like that.
Sure, but he wouldn't know what her prince looked
No,
like.
exactly, right. That would be a very
very weird choice for the
out there
show.
thing that there is no hinting of that happening thus far, right?
Right.
So then the question is why was he able to see it in the same way that Utena saw it? Why is Utena's memory of that prince, why does it seem to be so malleable in that was she actually literally believing that Toga was her prince, or just that Toga was a prince that reminded her of that prince?
So I think that the stuff with her is very simple. She has a malleable memory, like you're talking about, of the prince, because there is no core hard memory of it. It's an idea. It's something that she's taken into her own identity of just like, I will be like a prince for the purpose of the idyllic prince.
Sure.
That's the fairy tale.
Yeah, and she was so young and so distraught when it happened that it's the who knows what they really look like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So regardless of whether she thought of Toga as her actual prince, it was enough to make her stop in the duel.
Right. But one of the other things that's kind of interesting that comes about as a result of this is that if Utena's prince is kind of end of the world or some avatar or proxy or pawn
Connected
of
to
end of the
it
world,
all,
right?
yeah.
Then that means that end of the world reached its power out back when she was a child, beyond the domain that we've currently see it extend its influence.
Letters have been sent outside of this space here to the student council.
Right, but like if that's still within like the context of the school, I feel like it's
what's the difference? It's outside of where things are magically weird and all that,
Sure, yeah, it's not in the actual like dueling
It's
area.
not in the circular spiral thing to the infinite,
totally.
reality marble
but,
weird
But
place.
that's like theoretically the letters could be, stuff that like gets deposited down at the dueling area, and then they come up when they check there with the rings or whatever, they see letters and find them or whatever, right? Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that extends out of this place. But if it went to visit Utena, that is inherently something that extends out of this place. That's something that is also acting on a sense of will beyond what we've seen thus far, since so far it seems to be very much based around rules and things like that, and less so specific id and desire and whatnot. So,
well, I mean, end of the world is definitely some kind of person or persons. Like that's like a definite thing. There's no way we're engaging with some kind of like
that's right, because there was
system or something like that.
Right, because there was that bit where Toga had an exchange with End of the World.
Yeah.
Because
literally talked on the phone. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
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 No, this is just a situation where we're now getting some kind of confirmation of Utena's malleable memories being actually referenced in reality, because Toga noticed it.
Yeah.
So it's her prince is a real person. 2, her prince is not Toga. 3, her prince might literally be the spirit being that like
End of the World
inhabited
or
her
whatever,
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then also 4, she might literally be set up in this way by her prince to have him be summoned in some ways, or to get like a new body or something like that. Like we're getting into the wacky shit which I have been waiting for, which is let this show go full. Sorry, don't mean this in a derivative way, but go full Evangelion. Let's get weird. Let's get wacky. Let's get crazy.
Trippy, non-literal stuff that can go into crazy directions.
Trippy symbolic stuff where it's we can get into a literal world building stuff where it involves us being forced to ask questions about ourselves and the characters, and thus there's a message. There's a statement that the creator is trying to convey through the symbolism and the meanings of these characters.
As if it wasn't enough, like that we were going to have this in this episode, we were even prepped for it with that whole thing with the balloons, singular balloon at the beginning, right? And it's just floating around there. No one seems to notice it or pay much attention to it. It's changing colors and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, there's a ton of balloons. You know, there was no establishing thing of like, you know, some balloon seller down at the school being like, "Oops," you know, and then it's just we got balloons because
why not?
Okay, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the same way as something of like the
stopwatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually being like, "Oh wow, that's the time." We still don't know what the stopwatch thing is for, like what it means, and yet we're getting like attention drawn to it of like this being something exceptional.
Mm-hmm. It's the same kind of thing with the almost doll-like girls with their shadow silhouettes being part of the story, but I don't ever really need to fully have explained why they're there and stuff like that.
Right, they almost feel like narrator type stuff.
Well,
where it's
they're
like
narrators, yeah.
You know, right, but you know, it's that whole difference of things being a part of the story, but not necessarily a part of the world, you know? And
and this show plays fast and loose with that just in general anyway, with the fact that we have these absolutely insane, you know, comedy episodes randomly in the middle of nowhere. So, yeah, I think the balloons are just balloons for the sake of reminding us.
It's just balloons. It's just a blue balloon or a changing color balloon.
It's just there to remind us that this is a fantastical world where we cannot demand that things follow a certain code, if you will.
I will say though, speaking of following a certain code, it feels a bit ironic to me that in the episode where Anthi gets removed from Utena's presence, that's also where we get the return of Wakaba. Because I'm pretty sure Wakaba has been for the most, like, she was in there in the very first episode as kind of like the introduction of like, she's Utena's friend at school, right? Cool. But then once Anthi came along, Wakaba kind of disappeared.
Right.
And so there's a part of me that's wondering if that's just because it's we want to be able to have someone that Utena can talk to and have conversations with. That's very helpful for the narrative. And because Anthi's not here anymore, now it has to go back to Wakaba. But yeah. That seems like the most straightforward answer, and yet I'm like, there's something more.
I don't know if I did this in the discussion entirely, because we talked about it a little bit in between the discussion and the reaction. But the idea of the silhouette narrator girls having the little William Tell bit, I thought was funny. Yeah. And then I thought about it for a second. I was like, wait a minute. No, the only time these characters are brought in is to draw some kind of slight kind of thematic pointed approach on what the next duel is going to be, or the next conflict point. And the idea of the child that William Tell is basically forcing into the situation of where they have to trust them and stuff, but then end up getting used for the entertainment or what have you, just to do this thing with the apple and the arrow and the and all that. But then once the child starts to think for themselves and starts to question why this continues, and the father goes, until someone stops us. Basically saying that, I don't have any will here. I'm just doing this because this is the thing to do. And then once the child goes, but wait, I see a solution that could solve this, the father then goes, stop thinking for yourself. Right. Which is, holy shit, that's so pointed in a thematic way of, wait, so if Anthi is the child, then it's Anthi started to maybe think for herself a little bit with Utena, and maybe that's it. Is that Utena's thing is that she helped actually wake up Anthi a little bit. Okay. By not treating her in some ways like the Rose Bride. Sure. And that was enough to set the gears kind of turning for something to change in the way that this has been run.
Okay, that could be kind of fun.
It's like Anthi's heart is like being unlocked.
Right. With the way
that where the sword comes from.
That is the place where the sword comes from. And if we were to have that be the thing that tied into the mechanical aspects of why Utena is changing things, right? It's not just that she's someone from outside the school, she got the ring from outside or whatever, but it's that, no, she is treating Anthi differently, and that is causing things to mechanically be different that then the president notices, right? Yeah. And so then he's like, okay, I'm going to act now, I'm going to make Anthi mine and all that stuff so that way I can, do whatever, have access to the power of Dios and all that stuff. Would that then be something where we could have End of the World actually trying to essentially use this farce to teach a lesson to the kids of the school on the idea of what it means to actually have someone be yours, right? Like,
I don't see End of
something
the
can
World
only
as,
be given, not taken, kind
I
of
don't
thing.
see End of the World as a positive force here.
I don't either.
I can't see them as something where they're actually like trying to help anybody other than themselves.
Totally. But if it's something where Utena treating Anthi differently in that way and actually connecting with her as a person and all of that stuff is what's causing this stuff to happen,
I think that's just showing the nature of what it's like for people to just treat others as just people and not have to put all these titles and stuff on it and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
That from a divorced from the power mechanics of what's going on, that's absolutely what's happening.
That is a
and that's
natural consequence of what's happening.
And that's why it's important that it happens, because it's the hey, you treat someone like just a human being. It's pretty it's pretty cool, when that happens.
Yep.
And for some reason these people don't.
They don't.
Even Anthi.
Yeah, which I'll just say in some ways that's kind of my thing as to where I also see this as being a thing where End of the World is like the antagonist. Like that's an antagonistic force.
Sure, and it ends up being something where Utena embodies her own ideal of the prince, but then also realizes where the ideal of the prince is flawed, and then actually fights the manifestation of her own prince.
Right, which is where Utena needs to learn by going through the motions of playing out her fairy tale,
nice.
How flawed it is.
Sure,
which is not something that seems to be anyone's desire for her to see, other than maybe it being the natural consequence of Toga's manipulations here.
Sure.
Where, again, I don't think she's going to clue in the next episode as to what she's supposed to learn from this, or what she could learn from this. I think she's going to spiral for a little bit.
I think so, too.
I think it's going to be really hard for her to click with it. But I think a character like Wakaba, for instance, could be really helpful in that. I think that actually some of the members of the student council might be really helpful with this. Not Toga, but maybe Mickey, maybe Juri. I actually think that could be really interesting.
Maybe even Nanami.
No!
It could happen.
I would like that to happen way later, personally.
Hey, she was kind of brought into the group for comedic purposes.
Yes. And I think every character will be utilized in a serious manner that leads to some development on Utena's part and their part, but having those one-on-ones as they take turns, basically, makes sense. But I feel like with Nanami's position and where she's at, I feel like she needs a bit more time to cook in that regard. I
could see that.
I would see her as being maybe a bit jumping the shark to immediately going, wait, I've been idolizing my brother in the same way that you've been idolizing your prince.
No, definitely
not. That's a bit beyond her pay grade right now.
That is a down the road kind of a thing.
Exactly, yeah.
But work with me here.
Uh-huh.
Because Utena had this whole situation happen, she is probably not going to be that big of a fan of Toga.
I don't think she's gonna clue in that Toga was so bad.
She's super naive. So she's not gonna clue into how bad Toga is.
Yeah.
But if it's something where it's just at the very least it's the I don't really like that guy right now, then that's something where then Nanami is like, oh, okay, cool. You're backing off. That's what I wanted.
I see. Weird. I think it's the opposite. I think if anything, Nanami will approach her long before Utena reaches out for help.
Oh yes,
in this instance here.
That's what I'm thinking.
But even then, the only reason she would go to Utena is if she'd already tried with the other student council and they were like, "We're not going to do anything."
Actually, no. This is a good point, and I'll shut up about Nanami after this.
Yeah.
After the previous episode with the developments for Nanami, she has essentially been kind of reintroduced to the show as a character. So we need to actually see what kind of status quo we're going to get with her. So until she actually shows up again, I'm actually just going to consider her to kind of be out of the story.
Yay.
Okay. But we got Wakaba back. So, I can trade.
I would just love for you to focus a little bit more on Utena's character. She's got some really interesting things going on.
I'm sure we'll get into some absolutely wonderful stuff with Utena.
We're getting into it right now.
It's great. It's great. It's great.
All right, but I think I don't have anything else to say other than I had some some things that I noticed in the OP that, what do you know, were also like seemingly potentially relevant in this episode, with the moments of the environments being destroyed in the OP, and then the idea that a lot of the characters in the OP that are there are sleeping, and they're particularly Anthi and Utena in the beginning, but then also her prince as well.
Yeah.
Who
the one other person that was sleeping.
Right, who seems to wake up when the environment of this magical fantasy fairy tale land is destroyed, which feels very very interesting, and ties rather nicely into the monologue that they always give when they go up the elevator,
breaking the eggshell and all that stuff.
Yeah. What do they say specifically? Because I love the.
I want to say it was in the earlier bit of the episode.
It's very early on. Let me grab the part here. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's,
if it cannot break its eggshell, a chick will die without being born.
Okay. Yeah. We are the chick. The world is our egg.
We must break the world. Okay.
And if we don't crack the world's shell, we will die without being born. Smash the world's shell for the revolution of the world. So yeah, bring about the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, which if the end of the world is a person,
and
in some ways,
there you go.
They're assisting in the birth of the end of the world.
Sure.
Yeah. And there's a being that was coming down from the castle. So I'm just saying.
Yep.
This is all some grand ritual just to summon somebody. To summon the being of magic, the being that is of dreams and fairy tales, and, you know, the false promises and naive lies that we tell ourselves so that we, you know, think that we're, you know, having some purpose and all this. I can't wait for them to go weird and philosophical with this anime, basically. Any more than they already have.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But all right, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yes, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.